All right, and we are good to go. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us on our March town hall. I can't believe it's already March. And we have a lot of very exciting things coming up in the National Association of Blind Students. We just got started with some of our new committee formations, which we can talk about a little bit. Um, we have our Midwest seminar coming up this weekend. I hope to see some of you guys there. I know some of the names on the participants list I know are on the registration list as well, so that's very exciting. And we have a lot of amazing and exciting things coming down in the pipeline, so I can't wait to get the responses from all of our committee chairs and committee co-chairs about what's coming up in NABS. We're going to start off this evening with our advocacy committee.
All right. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, happy March, everyone. That is still so crazy to say. My name is Kaylee Brendel, and I am so honored to serve as the chair of the NABS Advocacy Committee. And before I recap some of the things that we've been up to and some of the things that will be coming down the pike for us, I would love to take a moment to introduce my new wonderful team of co-chairs and committee members. So, I'm going to begin with co-chairs. So we have Osalu Ozonyali. She's been with us for a minute. Ava Oriana, Sergio Arvizo Arguez, and Lucas Grease. It's a true pleasure to work with all of you. And as of very recently, we are now able to formally introduce both of our committee task forces, the governmental/legal arm of what we do and the interpersonal advocacy side of what we do. So our governmental and legal task force is being led by the wonderful Ava Oriana, and its members are Julia Castillo, Andre Hill, and Lucas Grease. And on the interpersonal advocacy side, that task force is being led by the wonderful Osalu Ozanyali. And our members include Sydney Horn, Robbie Dayhill, Sergio Arvizo Arguez, and yes, those are our, and Oscar Mejia Garcia. We are so grateful for all of you and the interest that each of you had. Oh, and Taylor Franks for governmental/legal. Sorry, my technology is not being cooperative tonight. Very, very grateful for the interest that all of you had in working on the initiatives that the Advocacy Committee creates, and I can't wait to see what we all can work on together. So now, as for what we've kind of done since we had our last town hall, in January, we hosted a call in preparation for the 2025 Washington seminar, in which we delivered some informational remarks on the 3 legislative priorities that the Federation had this year, namely the Blind Americans Return to Work Act, the Websites and Software Applications Accessibility Act, and the Medical Device Non-Visual Accessibility Act. And after providing some information about each of those 3 legislative priorities, we did a mock meeting in which the lovely Senator Lauren Altman was there to hear what some Federationists had to say about these very important priorities. And that meeting was a great opportunity for students to kind of see the different scenarios that can play out when you're in a meeting with a staffer or congressperson, the different reactions you could get when you're presenting. So you could get an enthusiastic endorsement of what you're communicating. You could get some interesting philosophy. You could get a lot of questions about the specific aspects of the bill that you're proposing. There are kind of a myriad of ways it could have played out, and so that meeting allowed us to explore some of those possibilities. Then we had our winter seminar at Washington Seminar, which focused on the theme of empowerment through resources, namely that you can achieve anything you want to if you have the right resources at your disposal. And so we explored a lot of those different options. We explored training as a resource. We had an entire resource fair with different options of internships and scholarships and all of these different avenues you could take to kind of increase your skills. We talked about, the experiences of students with multiple disabilities and what resources we use. It was kind of all over the map. And what an amazing resource the Monarch was as well. And so we got to learn about that. And then later on in February, very recently, we hosted our second Dare Call of 2025, concentrating on advocacy in conjunction with Uber and Lyft. So the experiences of guide dog users who use those services. So we heard from a representative from Guiding Eyes who kind of works with students as they come through the program in educating them about their rights and what they can do if they are denied access to a ride, denied access to a public place on account of their guide dog, and what they're able to kind of exercise legally in those situations, both as the situation is occurring and after it's already unfolded. So we had that presentation, and then we also got the amazing opportunity to hear from an Uber driver herself who can, personally speak to the policies that Uber puts in place for drivers, and what drivers are given kind of from their perspective, but also the responsibilities that drivers have to accommodate all riders and not discriminate. We also heard from a lovely representative from NAGDU, the National Association of Guide Dog Users, about the incredible work that they do. And some resources were disseminated at the end of the call to kind of acquaint people with, the different policies of the different companies, and an episode of the Nabs Now podcast commenting on the Right to Ride rally from October in California. And at that call, we also had another kind of mock meeting, so to speak, in which you got to see sort of a situation play out where a student got to try their hand at some advocacy when an Uber driver was denying them a ride on account of their guide dog. So those are the two calls that we've had so far this year. Looking ahead, we have a call in March. The scheduling details are still being finalized about that, but this call is going to have to do with an advocacy situation is very much ongoing. In conjunction with, I'm sure many of you have seen President Riccobono's email regarding a case called Texas v. Becerra. And that case poses a significant threat to a piece of legislation that we as blind students rely on very regularly. So we're going to be, talking a lot more about that and what we as students can do, but also what Section 504 is, what this case would do, and why that matters. So that's kind of coming up as our March Dare Call. And in April, we really had a lot of positive reception to the segment of Winter Seminar in which we explored the experiences of Federationists with multiple disabilities. And, that's experience that, isn't always talked about. And so we're going to dedicate a call in April to doing just that, diving further in, because, we had a very packed schedule at Winter Seminar, a lot of very exciting things to cover. So we want to give that really important topic a little more time. And so our April Dare Call is going to be the avenue through which we do that. So very, very excited to be working on all of this with my wonderful new team. And I would be happy to turn it back over and take any questions if there are any.
Kaylee, I know we're going to be having a call potentially about this, but for those of us who don't know what Texas v. Becerra is about, would you just be able to give like a brief synopsis?
Yes, absolutely. So 17 states are currently suing the United States Department of Health and Human Services, and they are claiming that Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 is unconstitutional. So Section 504 is the reason that you get a 504 plan in school. Section 504 is also the reason that any program entity that receives federal funding cannot discriminate against you on the basis of your disability. It allows for integration and protects you from being placed in an institution. There are a lot of very critical aspects to 504, and this lawsuit would strike it down completely. There's a lot of kind of misleading language that's been circulating recently about, we don't want to make it unconstitutional, but that is very explicitly written in the complaint, and no party involved has made any effort to modify the complaint. And recently, the Department of Health and Human Services agreed with the 17 states that 504, like everything in the complaint was accurate. So now we are waiting on one Texas District Court judge to make the determination of whether or not Section 504 stays or goes. But because a lot of the language in Section 504 also kind of cross-references the ADA and other legislation, it could be kind of a domino effect. So this is a case that the Federation is watching very closely.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kaylee. Does anybody have any questions for Kaylee about what the advocacy committee is currently up to?
Do you know when this is Sydney Horn speaking? Do you know when our March Dare call is? I'm just curious. Or do you have any
Yeah,
info on that?
yeah. So we are still working that out to make sure that our programming doesn't overlap with anything else that's going on because the Federation has a lot of amazing things happening. So we're
Mm-hmm.
still waiting on that, but it's going to be a Sunday evening at 8 Eastern. So it's just
Okay.
a matter of which Sunday evening it will be.
Okay. Makes sense.
Fantastic. Any other questions? Okay, that being said, we can move on to our next committee. Thank you so much, Kaylee, and all of our advocacy members that I know are on the call. So next up, I'm going to pass it over to our fundraising committee.
Awesome. Can I be heard?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And welcome everyone to our March Town Hall. Very excited to see all of you as reconnect with a lot of you since our winter seminar, excuse me, at Washington seminar. Lots of fun things that are going on with NABS. I have very little updates, but I will try to provide as much updates as I can regarding fundraising. So our fundraising committee, of course, like Kaylee, I would love to start out with sharing some of our committee changes and introduce our co-chairs for this remainder of the year. We've had a little bit of changes regarding leadership, but I'm excited to work with all of these individuals. So of course myself, Zachary Ledford, and then my fantastic co-chairs are Amar Tarin, Aklasia Tishom, Sveta or Svetlana Ellers, and then Majid Al-Huari. Apologies if I butchered any of those names, but I'm very excited to work with these individuals and continue to progress with helping NABS fundraising. So our fundraising committee is continuing our best to help support NABS and raise funds for us and our members. And in conjunction with our amazing auction committee, I'm sure a lot of you have heard, recently we held our annual auction that was happening during Washington seminar back in near the beginning of February. That one turned out very well. We had a lot of engagement and excitement behind that, and a lot of people bidding on various items and baskets, and as well as having a successful 50-50 raffle that we also try to have every year along with the auction that was filled with many individuals, part of our committee running around and helping sell those tickets. And thank you to all those who have bought tickets at that time, helped support NABS in any way, as well as donated items for the auction, as well as including bidding on those items. While as well, we are preparing for National Convention, as I'm sure a lot of you are. Hint, hint, registration opened recently for National Convention, but the fundraising committee is especially preparing for fundraisers that we will have coincide with the National Convention. I'm sure a lot of you may be familiar with them, including our annual walkathon and then merchandise selling at the exhibit hall. So keep on the lookout for more information regarding that, those fundraisers specifically. And of course, I'm happy to take questions if there are any.
Zach, for those of us who weren't able to attend our fantastic auction, can you just give a little bit of a recap of what some of the baskets looked like?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So we had a sports and recovery fitness basket. This one included a bunch of stuff that was donated by the Sports Rec Division as well as the New York Association of Blind Athletes. We had a water bottle, some protein mixes, and a bunch of other fun sports stuff, resistance bands. We had a coffee basket, coffee connoisseur basket with some coffee, ground coffee, as well as some fun coffee makers or a grinder as well. Bunch of fun stuff within our auction. Happy to share any other information as well for anybody who's interested. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to go ahead and put my contact information in the chat for any questions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Zach. Does anybody have any questions about fundraising, upcoming fundraisers, how to get involved? Okay, so we will move on to our next committee, which is going to be our content creation committee.
Hi everyone. So this is Manahil Joffrey. I hope you could hear me okay. So I'll be talking to you guys a little bit about what the content creation committee has been up to. So we've had a little change in leadership in terms of what the committee looks like, which is super exciting. Our chair is still Noah Carver, and we're joined by co-chairs Lindsay Adair, Ben Grelk, James Yessel, and Amina Orzuva. So a very stacked team with some amazing, amazing people and some amazing content that has been coming out. As you guys probably saw this morning, we just released our March edition of our NABS notes, which has some great pieces of information in there. It also has some of committee updates that we've compiled, different resources about the National Scholarship, which we all encourage you all to apply to. Deadline is the end of this month, March 31st. We also have a new podcast episode out. It's called Love is Blind, and we really talk about the ins and outs of relationship dynamics between both a couple that is both people are blind and a couple where one person is blind, one person is sighted. So, different relationships at play and exploring how those different dynamics can still result in love being in the air. So a lot of great things in the woodworks. We also have our committee coming up in terms of getting everything together. Please be updated on our social media. We are very active on Instagram, on our TikTok, and our YouTube. This town hall, as well as our winter seminar and any other events, are all recorded and posted on our YouTube channel, and some fun highlights of NABS is really updated on our Instagram. So definitely tune into our channels to get a sneak peek of what NABS is up to. Our WhatsApp community is also a great place. So yeah, that's a little bit of updates of what the content committee is up to. Any questions, please ask away.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Manahil. And actually, one of the questions that was submitted ahead of time was, how can I get more involved with the Instagram?
That's an amazing question. So our wonderful Amina Orzuva is in charge of our Instagram and managing it. So definitely contact our chair, Noah Carver. I will drop his email in the chat. And, that would be a great way to get more involved, maybe work with Amina and get more content up. I know it's a great platform. So we'd love to see you involved and have all hands on deck.
Amazing. Any other questions for Manahil and the Content Creation Committee? All right. And last but not least, our membership committee.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Hi, everybody. My name is Nikhil Dadlani, and I'm very proud to be serving again on our NABS membership committee for this year. I'll be discussing our committee leadership in just a few minutes, but first I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we have been doing and have in store. Firstly, I just want to talk a bit about becoming a member of NABS, and if you already are, how to renew that for the year 2025. As you may be aware, in order to vote in our elections during the year and in order to have all the benefits of a NABS membership, you must fill out our membership form and pay the $5 dues. And here in just a second, I'm going to drop the link to our NABS website in the chat, which has further instructions on how to become a member, how to pay your dues, and also has a link to the membership form, which you must fill out in order to be considered. Once your application is submitted and you pay the fee, you will receive an email on that when you're approved. And as you may be aware, we are Our membership is now being renewed on an annual basis starting on January 1st. So if you did pay dues for last year in 2024, and if you have not yet done so for the year 2025 to be considered, you must do so. And again, I will drop the link for that in the chat and get that going for you all. And please feel free to spread the word about that to any other blind students who you know who would benefit from becoming a NABS member as well. Secondly, I just want to talk about our WhatsApp community, which I'll also drop the link for in our chat in just a minute here. Our WhatsApp community is a truly vibrant space. Thank you to all the people who are keeping it active in all the various channels. We have a social channel in there, which blind students discuss any given topic that they'd like to or ask questions. We have channels for each of our fabulous committees. We have a channel respecting a Q&A section. We also have a channel for spreading resources, opportunities, and things of that nature as well. And last but not least, you also get to hear about all the great things that NABS is up to through our announcements section as well. So please join our WhatsApp community if you have not done so already. And please spread the word to that to all your friends who might be interested in that as well. Two other real quick things. One is I just wanted to thank our folks helping out with the membership committee's mentorship program, which we launched in mid-January, and we have had that to be a great success. We've had several mentor-mentee pairings, and we look forward to expanding that and continuing work on that throughout the year. Further, one other thing is that one of the things that the membership committee did in November was to host a social call, which is in form of like a Jeopardy game night of sorts. And I was so very happy to know that there was such a large attendance for that. And I know how exciting it was for students and folks to be there to participate, have fun, and learn more about one another. So we're going to be hosting another one of those, and that's going to be on the last Sunday of the month, or fourth Sunday of the month, sorry, on March 23rd. And we'll have more information about the specifics of that coming soon in our email list, WhatsApp, and other social medias hosted by our membership committee. So please stay tuned for that. Finally, I just want to talk about our committee leadership. I'm still on the committee. My name is Nikhil Dadlani, as I said. I'm joined by Casey Reyes, Con Lee, Christopher Suples, and of course, I want to also introduce our new chair as well, who will be saying a few words. And I'll be turning it over to Talia. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Talia Woodard. I am the new chair of the membership committee. And like Nikki said, we have a lot of exciting things coming up, especially with our social call on the fourth Sunday in March. And I'm just super excited to kind of help out with membership and see where things go as far as NABS. And if there's any questions that I can answer, feel free to email me. I'll drop my email in the chat. Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nikki and Talia. We're very excited to see where membership goes in this coming semester. I know I'm personally very excited about the continuation of the mentorship program. And I can't wait to see, more calls and fun social events that you guys put out. So thank you guys so much for all of your work on that. Does anybody have any questions about the membership committee? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to now move on to our next segment, where I'm going to talk a little bit about what you can expect to see at the Midwest seminar coming up in just a few short days. And if anybody else from the planning task force wants to jump in and add some things after I talk, feel free. But yeah, so I know a lot of people have been very excited to find out what's going to be held at our Midwest seminar. As you guys know, the theme for this is, beyond the handshake. So we're going to be talking a lot about career readiness and job exploration. We're going to be having some incredible blind professionals come and talk about their careers. We have a very vast and diverse group of individuals talking about a some incredible careers that they're in. We have, you know, a blind comedian, a blind rapper, all the way to, you know, blind individuals in finance and in corporate, you know, corporate careers. So we have some very interesting folks that we're going to get to hear from, as well as some amazing segments that we're going to get to learn from and also be a part of. Panels on everything from, you know, tackling post-secondary readiness to, you know, how do I handle different types of interviews? I know for myself, the idea of having an interview that's done by AI and you know, focused on technology recruitment through AI sounds pretty daunting, but we're going to have, you know, people talking about all different types and all different styles of interviews, how to make an outstanding LinkedIn profile, how to do elevator pitches, mock interviews, all different types of things, as well as per usual, as a staple of our NABS seminars, we have at night on Saturday, we're going to have a banquet, which we're calling our NABS Gala, and it's going to feature a fantastic keynote speaker who is going to share her insights as a professional, you know, working in a variety of different careers and being a leader in the Federation. And so we really can't wait to see you guys there. And to make some wonderful connections and to have you guys learn about a variety of different jobs. And if, let's say, you weren't able to attend this upcoming seminar, don't worry. We have some more coming down the pipeline. NABS always has, you know, at least one regional seminar per year, as well as our business meeting at National Convention and our winter seminar, which was just held at our Washington seminar. Does anybody have any questions about Midwest?
This is Sydney. So I was wondering, is the seminar, is it gonna be like recorded at all, or is there gonna be any links that it's gonna be recorded?
So that's a great question. We actually don't record our seminars, and I don't believe we're planning on recording this one. But if, you know, for those of us that can't make it in person, there's always more opportunities to get involved and to go to future ones. But that's a great question, Sydney.
Okay, because someone I know was wanting, like, if there was a recording, he was wanting to watch it, but I wasn't sure, so I just had to ask.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking. And a lot of our other calls and different events are recorded and posted online. So definitely tell your friend to reach out or to check out those and look through our social medias as well as our YouTube.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Any other questions? Okay, and then the last question that was submitted was about guide dog advocacy and how it has changed since the introduction of the new program through Uber. About for those of you who don't know, when the rideshare rally was held in front of the Uber and Lyft headquarters, the solution that was kind of given by the staff of Uber was to have a new system of sort of identifying as somebody that uses a guide dog. And so the way that it would work is that the individual would be able to register as somebody that uses a guide dog. And as you know, they would order the ride as usual. And then since they identified as somebody that uses a guide dog, when the person got, let's say, within, I believe it's around 600 feet of them, it would pop up and say, you know, this individual has a guide dog, they are blind. And so this is a relatively new program. There's not a ton of data yet about kind of what the impacts of it have been. I'm definitely very curious, as I'm sure are most of you, to find out kind of what the results are. As a guide dog user myself, I'm, you know, very on the fence of using the program. It sounds very interesting. But the other good thing to know about it is that you can easily opt in and opt out of it. So if for some reason you notice that you're using the program and it doesn't work as well as you had wanted it to, maybe, or you find yourself getting discriminated more or taking longer to get to your destinations because of discrimination, you can easily, kind of opt in from that and say that you no longer wish to participate and identify as somebody that uses a guide dog. And so, speaking of which, my guide dog just came in. And so in terms of that program, there's not a ton of data yet as to how that is going, but if you are interested in learning more about guide dog accessibility and access with guide dogs for rideshare and public spaces, please check out our most recent DARE call that was put on by the Fantastic Advocacy Committee, which is all about everything guide dog access and preventing guide dog discrimination. And that can be found on our YouTube channel. So feel free to utilize that, and definitely to also utilize the National Association of Guide Dog Users as a resource. They were on the call as well. A representative was, and they are, obviously very involved in the fight for access. And as Manahil just corrected me, the episode will actually be uploaded soon. So definitely stay tuned and look at that when it comes out. Any questions about guide dog advocacy? Okay. With that being said, that's the questions that I had submitted. Is there anybody else that is interested in asking a question for tonight's town hall?
Sure.
Oh, did we have somebody?
Yeah, Oscar.
Oh, Oscar, go for it.
Yeah, so I believe, I don't know when it was, I think it was sometime earlier this year, when dues were first starting to come out for the year 25. I sent in through the form, but I never received any communication back.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing that up, Oscar. If anybody has, paid due and been, stated that they wanted to become a member of NABS by paying their dues and filling out the form, you should receive contact from our membership committee shortly about kind of the new member process if you're a new member, or just continuing member stuff. But thank you for bringing that up. Any other questions? Okay. Well, that being said, we are going to close out for the night. Thank you guys so much for attending and for spending your Sunday night with us. I'm very excited to see some of you at our seminar next week, and looking forward to having our next town hall in the month of May.
Thank you all.
Have
Thank
a great-
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.